Welcome to Episode 0 of the Knights of the Toxic God Stellaris Roleplay playthrough. This is not going to be some hyper-efficient mechanical playthrough. I am not that great at this game, so if you're looking for some really advanced playing of this game, I'm not the best person to watch. But I'm hoping we'll have fun here all the same. In Episode 0, we're going to be looking at my mod list for this playthrough. We're also going to be looking at the Empire we're going to be playing, just a general overview, not an in-depth look at everything. And then we're going to take a look at the galaxy settings. And that will be the entirety of Episode 0. If you're not interested in that and you want to skip to the playthrough, go straight to Episode 1. So, here is my mod list for this playthrough. There's 40 mods in this list, and this is the load order that I have. The load order I did based on, well, just common sense, kind of what I just thought. It might have mistakes in it. There might be some slight bugs and glitches. Pause the video so you can get all of these. This is 1 through 13. Here is 14 through 26. As you can see there. Quite a lot of different stuff here. Some of it is submods, some of it are patches, but good amount of changes to the game. And then here is 27 through 39. Right there. And lastly, we have number 40, which is one of the bigger ones. So, that is my mod list. So the Empire that we're going to be playing today is the Brotherhood of Finality. Just to quickly go over them, they are an all-male, because they do not reproduce sexually. They reproduce through probably like blobs of like stuff being formed in the ground and then and then showing up as dudes. They look like they do something like that. I took some inspiration from the Warhammer 40k orcs for this. The species name I gave them is their Rowrots. Obviously, we're going to deal with the Toxoid species pack because I haven't played with any of this stuff yet. The origin we're doing is the Knights of the Toxic God. Centuries ago, this species' homeworld was visited by a toxic entity. The ecological catastrophe that followed ruined half the world, but allowed an early unification of the survivors in their reverence for the Toxic God. An order of knights has been created to search for the Toxic God, and although many things have changed, the quest continues. Finality is the name of their world, the idea that the Toxic God will bring in the end times, which is something that they would revere. Their star, I decided to name Unity, as they have unified as they've reached the stars, and just kind of saw that as like a goal for them to get towards space so they can properly search for the Toxic God. They are an imperial government, authoritarian, elitist, spiritualist, and fanatic militarist, since they are a warrior culture. And again, some of this stuff is going to be from mods, like elitist is not something that's in the normal game. Some of the traits are also from mods, and the civics are also modified. They are stalwart. They are great defensive fighters, very strong. Again, a very militaristic society, as the fact that their society is basically just a knightly brotherhood that is also an interstellar organization, or an interstellar government. However, they are quite simple, not going to be very smart at researching and other things like that. They are repugnant, as you know, makes sense. They're mucus blobs, and they're wasteful. They're not super great with conserving their resources. So those are the traits, and then the civics, we're going to go with feudal society. The main thing about this is that it's going to make us better at dealing with subjects, and our leaders are not going to cost unity upkeep, which means that we'll be able to actually do some cool things with like keeping generals on planets and stuff like that we won't have to like worry about maintaining. We're going with a war cult. We are, a militaristic culture. We can build a unique building, have some unique jobs, and then we're also going with a patrimonial aristocracy, where we can have nobles and noble estates, and just having an order of knights and then with priests and nobles, it just made sense for everything to have this sort of hierarchy to it. And that is the Empire that we're going to be playing today. I don't think there's much else to say. A lot of the mechanics here in the Origin, I do not know much about at all. So, yeah. These are the galaxy settings I'm going to be playing with. A lot of it's going to stay relatively default, so I'm going to mostly go over what I changed. The galaxy size is large, which is like second biggest. The galaxy shape is a new one, starburst. It's going to look very different. Habitable worlds, I always turn all the way down because it just kind of feels more realistic to have less planets to inhabit, and also it helps with endgame lag. I turn off Xeno compatibility so I don't have to deal with as much endgame lag. For AI empires, I have 14. For this playthrough, 7 of the AI empires are empires that I created specifically to make the game, make sure there's some a variety. So I have a couple aggressive ones, a couple peaceful ones, things like that. I tried to have a decent mix of AI empires having different things. The other 7 are going to be random. Normally in a large galaxy there's 12. I decided to add 2 more just to add some more interaction. So we'll see. 3 advanced AI starts, but none of them will be our neighbors, so we're not going to get totally blown out of the water early, but we'll have some good opponents for the later stages of the game. 3 Fallen Empires, 2 Marauder Empires. Crisis Strength, I decided to do 25 times, because if I lose to the Crisis, it'll still be a fun run. But we'll see if I can beat it. Random Crisis, normal difficulty without any of the other scaling or adjusted modifiers, all that stuff. That all being said, the NCS2 mod has a its own little difficulty thing that I assign in the beginning, so it will be harder than just normal Ensign, just due to that. I just don't really like to use both, so I keep this as default and I use the other one. And then for this, most of this is normal except the mid-game start year I put a little bit earlier. And that's the galaxy settings. Let's go see where we're going to end up in the galaxy. We could high roll, or we could low roll. We'll see if we can survive the early game. We might be next to a few Fnatic Purifiers. We'll just kind of see how things work out in Episode 1 as we take the Brotherhood of Finality and pursue the Toxic God.